morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of this joint venture between Real Loco Marine and MrLopezClasses.com. And today is a special day because we are going to talk about the cooling system in inboard engines with the heat exchanger with coolant, the closed cooling system. This is the best. Danny, how are you?
Yes, how you doing, Mauro? Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, this is, well, we talked about the raw water system, so everybody knows the system of the raw water from the last videos. And now we're going to talk about the closed cooling system. The closed cooling system basically uses raw water only to cool a heat exchanger.
Yeah, it's not raw water, it's coolant circulating in the block and the head is superior.
Absolutely. And then it has an expansion tank, which the raw water doesn't have, for your cooling. And then not only that, basically the only thing that sees salt water is your risers, which is the discharge.
Yeah. Don't forget, we have salt water circulating only in the risers and only in the heat exchanger. That's it. But internally in the block and the head, we have circulation of coolant, and the coolant goes outside to the heat exchanger. In the heat exchanger, the temperature of the coolant goes down, and after that, the raw water passes to the risers and goes out to the elbow of the exhaust, and bye-bye. This is the heat exchanger, exactly the heat exchanger. And guys, we are going to follow the path of raw water. Raw water enter here, goes directly outside because the pipes are straight pipes. You see the pipes over there? You see the pipes over there? And the coolant circulates here and goes out here. This is exactly the element that we have inside of this. Okay, and coolant here, entering here, and coolant going out again, entering in the block. Basically because the circulating pump is working, circulating the coolant from here to here, depending if the thermostat open or closed.
There's one thing to remember, that the flow of water and the flow of coolant move in the opposite direction.
Oh, very important to obtain a better heat transfer.
Yes.
The raw water is moving in this direction and the coolant in the opposite direction. Yeah, that's very important. It's a cross flow, that's the name of that heat exchanger method. Danny, the issue in this engine is when the raw water goes out here and enter in the risers. What happened in the risers?
Only in the riser. So we have a riser here, which I'm going to stand up. We've seen that from the previous video. The exhaust comes here and the water comes through here. But this is a closed cooling system. So now you're going to have a block off plate that blocks these water passages only, leaving the gas exposed. And then in here, there's a nipple that normally goes here, and that's where the discharge of the salt water comes out through the riser.
Look at the difference. You remember in the previous episode, we talked about the raw water cooling system. In that episode, the raw water circulates here and goes out and is mixed here, gases in the middle and raw water here and here. In this one, no, the raw water, this one is closed. And
only on the manifolds.
Correct. And the raw water goes here in a nipple and enter in the elbow and bye-bye.
And then it transfers the same way, it travels the same way. It's just the only difference is it doesn't cool the manifold off. The coolant is what cools the manifold.
This is very, very interesting. In other words, you think that the riser will be less affected?
Well, the riser will probably last just the same as the raw water.
Yeah.
But the manifold and the block will last triple the amount of time because of the coolant.
Interesting.
You pay for it, of course, is obviously just an option. And it's always better to pay for that option.
This is wonderful. In the engine cooled with the coolant in the closed cooling system, the block and the head is protected because it's cooled by coolant. And also in the risers, you have a better design. It's not exposed all the time.
No, the only thing that is exposed is just the riser.
The riser. That's nice. Yeah. Okay, Danny. But other thing, Danny, that I want that we explain to our followers is when you have an issue related with temperature in this type of a cooling system, the first step is divided the problem. Where is the problem? In the coolant side or in the raw water side? No?
Yeah. Because the same principle applies in the raw water. It pulls the water from the bottom of the boat.
Correct.
Goes through the strainer. Goes to the regular water pump like we had last time.
Yeah.
It still has the
raw
same
water pump.
Which is right here.
Correct. It's here in front of the engine.
So it's the same thing, and this supplies water to the heat exchanger.
Correct.
cooling the heat exchanger and get dispelled. Now, as far as on the cooling side, you have the thermostat. You still have the circulating water.
The circulating pump.
That
and
which
let me
has
bring
coolant only. Which has coolant only. So basically, the raw water here is for the heat exchanger, and this is for your coolant.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Look at this. This is the pump for raw water. Okay, Danny, bring that one. And this is the pump to circulate the coolant. Raw water pump coolant, and this one use a flexible impeller, and this one use in the back metallic impeller. That's for coolant. This is bolted on the block, and the coolant circulate. The coolant circulate entering here and going out here, or vice versa, depending of the sense of rotation. This is coolant or circulating pump, and it's part of the block. It's bolted on the block.
It's bolted on the
and
block.
This one is the raw water pump, and is external. It's moved by the bell, Danny, in the bottom.
Yep, the serpentine belt.
The serpentine belt. And okay, one for raw water, one for coolant. This one work together with the seacock, and that one work together with the thermostat. This one is together with the thermostat. The circulation of coolant inside of the block depends if the thermostat is open and closed. And this one work together with the heat exchanger. The raw water enter here and goes out here. All right? This is raw water side, and this is coolant side. This is the first step. Identify where is my problem.
Correct. So, so when you're trying to diagnose a problem, you have to understand the problem. Okay. So like for instance, hey, you know, the engines doesn't get hot, but I've seen a lot of white smoke,
Yeah.
and that could be maybe because the risers are clogged up because they're old.
Correct.
But that would tell you that, hey, the thermostat's warm, but the risers are super hot. There's probably a restriction. But if you really think about it, if the engine's overheating and the riser's hot, that means there's a lack of water, because if you don't have enough volume of water to cool the heat exchanger down, then everything gets hot.
Yeah. Okay. This is an excellent analysis. We are going to create an ideal example. The customer call and asks about the high temperature in the engine in idle, and you need solve the problem. Okay, first step is verify the raw water side. The first step is verify if this element open and close properly. Disconnect the hose here and verify if water is coming in.
And there's no shells inside.
Correct. After that, check the strainer, the filter. Remove the basket, clean the strainer, and after that, verify the raw water pump. Remove the plate of the raw water pump, verify if the impeller is good, replace the impeller, replace the kit completely. Oh, the blade is broken. Look at this. Replace the impeller, replace the O-ring, the gasket. Oh, the impeller is broken with the two blades disappear. Okay, in that case you need enter in the heat exchanger, remove the cap of the heat exchanger in one end, and verify if the pieces of rubber are located here. Okay. The pieces of rubber are over there, a lot of calcium over there. You need flush the system with a wire, clean the heat exchanger, recover the heat exchanger, and verify, start the engine again and verify if the flow of raw water is good. Oh, I clean the heat exchanger, I replace the impeller, I clean the strainer, I verify the seacock, and the flow of raw water is not enough. You need to remove the risers and verify probably the risers are clogged. No,
absolutely, absolutely.
And this is the path of salt water. Okay, now the salt water, the flow of salt water is identical to the other engine. I don't have a difference, but the problem continue. High temperature at low RPMs. What is the next step?
Well, the next step, now you got to think of the cooling system. Now that you verified
Coolant.
the raw water side, now the coolant.
Okay.
Now you know you have your coolant pump. Okay, you got to make sure that's working properly, and also to make sure the thermostat's opening when it's open.
That's number one. Verify the thermostat. Open the thermostat housing, remove the thermostat. You have two options. In a pot with water, check the thermostat, or replace the thermostat. All right.
Yeah, they're cheap enough. Just replace it.
Yeah, replace the thermostat and verify if the pump is good. Verify that you don't have lateral play. Verify that you don't have leaks in this hole and in the bottom hole. And verify that the pump is not producing excessive noise. In that case, the bearings are
correct.
In that case, if you have too much noise, too much play, replace the circulating pump. Circulating pump replaced, thermostat replaced. Verify the reservoir of the coolant.
There's no leaks.
And verify that the color of the coolant. That's very important. Verify that you don't have excessive amount of calcium on the cap of the reservoir. If you have excessive amount of calcium, indicate that probably the coolant is mixed with salt water.
Correct.
That's not good. If the color of the coolant normally is orange or is green. No?
Orange or green, mostly orange.
If suddenly is brown, this is an indication that it's mixed with salt water. If the odor of the coolant is not good, it's salt water.
And if you have a doubt, you send it out to the lab.
Correct.
And have it checked out.
Take a sample and send to the laboratory and analyze with the poster. Okay, I saw a little film of oil in the reservoir. Oil on the coolant. What happened, Danny?
Well, more likely in the cooler itself, there's usually a crack. Now we have the oil coolers that have the raw water, and you have coolant that's cooled. If there's oil inside there, and there's oil, there's various situations. You can either have an oil leak.
You have two situations for oil on the coolant.
Yeah.
One possibility is on the head gasket, in the combustion chamber.
Yeah.
That possibility crack on the oil cooler, motor oil cooler, is when the oil, you remove the dipstick and the oil is emulsified with water and probably is salt water. The odor is bad, for sure is salt water.
It'll look like either like a milkshake,
yeah,
or it looks like you have extra oil if it's sat for a long time.
The level increased suddenly.
Correct.
That's correct.
Right.
Okay, this is the analysis. I need analyze the coolant side, I need analyze the raw water side. What happened if the problem, you verify both paths, the path of salt water, the path of coolant, everything is okay, and the problem continue.
Well, there's one more thing that I would check. Someone might have changed the cap of the...
the cap of the expansion tank. I forget that.
Yeah, what happens is people will say, oh, it looks the same as like a regular automotive, and they just go by it.
It's pretty similar.
It's very similar.
Yeah, it's very similar. Be careful with that. Thank you, Danny. I forget that. The cap of the expansion tank is like the radiator cap. It's basically the same. And that cap have a pressure, the number of the pressure here, in this particular case, is 15 psi. Verify that this is the cap recommended according with the service manual.
Yes.
No, this is number one. Verify that the cap, in some cases they have a spring here, the spring is working and that the seal is working. And verify that you don't have symptoms of calcium here or oil over there. This is very, very important. The same that you don't have oil on top of in the top level of the coolant or calcium. Exactly the same analysis that you did in the reservoir. I recommend change periodically this cap. It's not expensive.
No.
And
just make sure you get the right one.
And verify, because the new engines, they have the expansion tank plastic like this. And suddenly it's cracked in the bottom of this. It's very, very common.
They crack a lot. It's just the plastic's really not real ideal for the situation, but it's economical, keeps the prices down.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, when you're doing the service, this is part of the services you're inspecting. You see any future cracks, it looks like, hey, you know what, this is gonna be a problem, you have to at least advise the customer.
Correct.
Because it always happens at the worst moment when you're out.
Yeah.
It never happens when you're at the house.
That's correct.
It always happens when you're out. So as a technician, you know, you even though it doesn't need to be replaced right now, but you let the customer know and let him make the decision. I would advise him to do it, because why wait until it happens and solve the problem beforehand? But not everybody's
that's
willing to do
very
that.
important. Okay, we are going to continue with the analysis. Suppose that we finish with the inspection of the coolant side, the inspection of the raw water side. Both of them are okay. We replace the majority of the parts, and the problem continues. Now the problem probably is not on the coolant, it's not on the raw water side, it's internally on the engine.
Correct.
And there are different possibilities for high temperature in that particular case. Okay, number one, we are going to analyze that issue related with the fuel. We have two options, rich mixture or lean mixture. In rich mixture, we have black smoke.
Yeah, it'll be smoky. You can smell the raw fuel on the
If you remove the spark plug,
it'll be black.
It's black, dark,
Dark, and
and dry.
like carbon,
It's carbon. It's dry. It's not oily. okay, this is rich mixture, and when you have rich mixture, the temperature goes down, not up. In this particular case, it's not related with rich mixture. What about lean mixture?
Lean mixture, what happens is it doesn't have any fuel.
And the temperature?
The temperature goes up because it doesn't have the lubrication properties.
Correct.
So, and the nice thing is, like, this is a V8. If you have an engine that's missing and you got temperature, and you always tell everybody on a gasoline engine, compression and spark's important. As you do the compression check, you take the spark plugs and, oh, this one's normal, and then there's one that looks brand new.
Yeah.
That's getting no fuel.
Yeah. Okay, guys, lean mixture is a critical situation, and we need time to analyze lean mixture. Like Danny said, lean mixture could be in any cylinder. You don't know in which cylinder is the issue, because the injector in cylinder number 3 open partially or not open. Okay, the temperature laser gun is the tool number 1 for that.
Temperature heat gun is great.
Right.
It's great.
Because you pointed on the head of each cylinder.
You can find the hot spot.
And probably you say, okay, in cylinder number 3, the temperature is higher than the rest of the cylinders. Okay, let me remove the spark plug on that cylinder. Let me check what happened. The color of the spark plug is very, very, very critical. Probably if you remove the spark plug in that cylinder, the color is like a tan or is white, and the electrode is a little melted. That indicates that that cylinder is running lean and the temperature increased dramatically. If you have a botoscope, you can introduce the botoscope through the hole of the spark plug, and you can see probably damage on the liner, on the cylinder.
Yeah, the nice thing about the spark plug is it's almost like taking a glimpse inside what the cylinder looks like.
That's correct.
Because like whatever the spark plug's in that cylinder, whatever, if there's metal, if it's rich or it's lean, it all shows. If even water.
Yeah.
If there's water in that cylinder, it's going to show up on the spark plug.
The lean mixture have a different points of view. Other analysis that you can do is analyze the report of codes in the engine. Probably there are older codes storage in the computer, and those codes are related with cylinder 3 high temperature, cylinder 3 misfiring, cylinder 3.
If you look at the codes and there's like 50 codes in that cylinder number 3, and there's only 1 or 2 in the other ones, that number 3 is the one.
Yeah, that's correct. And also there are probably a lot of codes related with the low fuel pressure. Yeah. Low fuel pressure at the input of the common rail, or low fuel pressure in the common rail. This is another possibility for lean mixture in the entire engine, or lean mixture in focus cylinders. Analyze the code. Check the history on the computer. No?
Yeah, that on the fuel system, that's a whole nother.
Yes, this is why you need take.
That's another whole episode to talk about.
It's other episode,
but it does affect the heat. Though,
correct.
For sure.
Okay, also, this is related with fuel, and we are going to talk in other episodes only about fuel, and we are going to explain that procedure, like Danny said. Danny have a lot of experience with that.
And there's one more thing, oil.
Okay, and now that issue could be related with the bad lubrication. Remember that if you have lack of lubrication in some part, start the friction. And when you have friction, the temperature increase. This is other possibility. This is why you need to be familiarized with the oil pressure gauge in your motor. Oh yes, I know that the oil pressure in that engine decreased a little, but it's just a little. Okay, that could be the issue. If the oil pressure decreased a little, what happened? Start the friction. Where is created the high pressure internally in the engine? You remember? It's on the bearings.
Right.
The plain bearings. This is probably an indication that you have a babbitt, the alloy on the plain bearings, eroded, and you have dispersed metals on the oil. This is why the recommendation number 1 is take a sample of oil, send to the laboratory, and analyze the sample. Probably you have a high level of aluminum, high level of zinc, lead. Those dispersed metals indicate that the bearings are gone, and this is why you have low oil pressure. Okay, analysis of oil. This is another episode we are going to explain with details.
That's like getting your blood work for your body.
Correct.
Same thing.
My friends, this analysis is not easy. You analyze the oil, you analyze the fuel, you analyze misfiring, verify that the engine is running in great condition. But the people think that those are only the possibilities related with temperature. And what happened, the pitch? What happened if the boat is over pitch?
Yeah, that'll cause overheat as well.
Of course, or under pitch. Both scenarios produce the same situation. This is common, no, Danny?
Oh yeah, most people don't know. When they buy a boat, they think that's the way it rides. And I tell people, hey, you're not pitched properly. And we have demo props, and I say, hey, let's go out on one of my props. And they're like, wow, what a difference. It feels like I got more horsepower.
Yeah.
It's because you have to be within the manufacturer's RPMs.
Yeah.
You know, the smaller the prop, the better hole shot. The bigger the prop, the less hole shot. But then you have, depending on the size of the vessels.
That's
big
correct.
Boats,
That's correct. This
props.
is why follow the recommendation of the manual. This is the propeller appropriated for this boat. No, the manufacturer recommend this pitch, and I have another pitch. Okay, why you put another pitch? You have a special consideration in your boat. Your boat is dedicated to tow or something like this.
It depends on the application.
Depending on the application. This is why, my friends, issues related with temperatures are not easy. There are different points of view in this analysis.
Yes.
Any other thing, Danny, related with the closed cooling system for inboard engines?
For an inboard engines, I think that's pretty much it. Also, one thing that I could tell you that it would cause is if the air filter's clogged up.
Oh, air filter clogged. Of course,
and that's from usually like if the engine is rusty and what happens is the pulleys are rusty, and as it's doing the serpentine, it's throwing little dust from the belt, and everything gets sucked in here. Or like the sound barrier in the engine compartments. Sometimes they get old and then they start clogging up, and then what happens is you're gonna run rich, and then you can make the engine run hot because now it's not getting enough.
Yes, and also bad fuel
fuel
contaminated with water. You need to be analytic and analyze all the possibilities before you take a final decision. But I love it, this cooling system in comparison with raw water.
This is night and day. You'll get 3 times the life out of this engine than you would on a raw water.
You hear, no? 3 times the life.
Absolutely.
It's a lot. And of course, if you enter in the engine room, you see the engine in different conditions, completely like new. If you are organizer, remember, the life of the boat depend on how clean and how dry is internally your boat. The engine room should have as clean as possible, as dry as possible to prevent corrosion.
Yeah, and the maintenance. Maintain your engine. You maintain your engine. It's like anything. You take care of it, it'll last.
And don't forget the recommendation that we did today. Once per year, take a sample of coolant and take a sample of oil on the motor and oil on the transmission. Send to the laboratory and analyze the report. We have a couple of videos explaining the procedure to analyze those reports, those analyses. Thank you, Danny.
No problem. Thank you.
It was nice, no?
Thank you, guys.
Have a good day.